Hey, what's going on, my friends? This is Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And if this guest this morning does not, inspire you or, you know, th- hold on a second. I got like a hairball in my mouth or something here. Um, if she does not inspire, and this is also her second or third time back on the show, enough from me. Taylor, welcome to the show again. Once again, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent. It looks like you're set up there in nature,
I
which is
am.
in an undisclosed location, it looks like.
I'm actually in Miami, so you can see it's
Okay.
very beautiful here. It's a nice change from Oklahoma.
Living your best life, I see.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. What takes you to Miami? Just vacationing or
Yep. Just a
yeah?
little.
Just a little vacation? What? How many people would like to be on vacation right now in Miami? Say aye. Aye. So, tell everyone a little bit about who you are and how you got started, just the nutshell version of your story, for anybody who doesn't know who you are.
So I started my online journey. Actually, just came over a year. I came across Legendary's program on TikTok. Decided just go for it. Saw a bunch of people having some great success with it, and ever since, my life has been completely different, and I've been so thankful that I was able to connect with this community.
Yeah. What sort of achievements have you or milestones have you hit in your business? Whether that be with sales or earnings and there's a big fat disclaimer. Taylor went through the training, took lots of action, and her results are in no way typical. But give us some specifics about in what I mean, obviously we can see you're on vacation in Miami, but in what specific ways has this impacted your life in positive ways? And what milestones have you hit?
So, not only is it just amazing to be able to rely solely on this online income, only be able to work for myself, but I was able to hit six figures profit in 7 months with this online promoting. And yeah, it's more money than I ever thought I would be able to make, especially at this age. And I now consistently do 5 figures per month, and it's just awesome. It's opened my eyes to so many other opportunities to make money online as well. So,
Mm, mm. And you're 22 years old, right?
yeah.
And by the way, have you and I ever talked in any way, live other than here on Wake Up Legendary publicly where everybody can hear exactly every word that we're saying to each other?
No.
Yeah, we've never talked. Or have you ever had any private conversations with anyone from our company, or has it all just been either attending a coaching webinar or a training or Wake Up Legendary? Have you had any other side private conversations? Did anybody take you aside and give you any special training or special you know what I mean, like any handouts, leg ups, anything like that? Or did you go through the same training in the same process that's available inside of our training still to this day?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I went just right through that training.
Yeah, it's amazing. The it does take dedication to actually go through the training, to learn. I think maybe a lot of people just want to like kind of pick at it, or they buy it and then they're like, well, I'll do it kind of how I want to do it. Why do you think that is? I mean, you're closer to turning in assignments to teachers than I am, but it still seems like there's this challenge that people have with actually going through and completing training. without somebody standing over them or without them having to turn some sort of assignment into somebody else holding them accountable, which is the exact opposite skill set you're learning that we need as entrepreneurs. So, what is your advice to people who are finding themselves struggling just focusing on going through the training on their own? It is a new thing, so it's not about judgment, but what is your advice to people of how to get through that so they can learn those skills before they just start acting in random directions and then having to keep starting over again?
I think that's a really good question because I think with everybody with a class or if you have a job, if your teacher says to do a certain thing, you're going to do it most of the time, hopefully. Or if your boss tells you to be here at a certain time, you're going to do it. But when you tell yourself you're going to do something, a lot of us don't give ourselves the same respect that we give those other people. So
Mm.
if you're going to be accountable for your teachers and for your boss, you should 100% be accountable for yourself.
So, what is that transition over into entrepreneurship been like for you? Has that been an easy transition where, I mean, did you immediately feel that drive to kind of take action, or did you also struggle at the beginning or have a challenge with, hey man, it's kind of all on me now? There's the sky's the limit, there's no ceiling here, but it is all on me, and that's really exciting. But it's also, wow, there's a saying that says, um uh something like, to whom much or uh, with lots of freedom comes lots of responsibility. And I've been saying that for a lot of years because, what I realized, Taylor, was the more successful that I became, the more things I was going to be responsible for. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to get rich and famous and take selfies and post them on. If I wanted to live a productive, meaningful life that I enjoyed spending time with the people that I love, which are pretty much like my wife, my kids, family, close friends, then I'm going to have to be responsible for some stuff. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to be responsible for getting my work done. I'm going to have to be responsible for driving my business forward, being the one who's actually pushing my business forward, not some coach, not some mentor. And I think a lot of people get sucked into this. Hey, oh, it's not a boss, now it's a mentor. Now it's a mentor that I need. And that mentor, it's when I find that right mentor, that's when I'm going to that's and it's almost like, hold on, you have to reverse those. You have to be the one pushing your business forward, regardless if there's a mentor or a coach or a consultant or somebody that you're working with, on the side to help you grow. You still, as the business owner, have to ultimately be responsible to keep pushing your business forward day in and day out. And so, how have has that come natural to you, I guess, is what I'm asking, Taylor? Or what sort of tips or things have you done that's made that sort of transition to sort of, hey, I wanted to be in the captain's seat, now I am, that transition a little bit better?
Yeah, so I think it a lot of the time comes down to what situation you're trying to get out of because I was working for a guy that was not very rational and was known for firing people out of nowhere. And I had put a lot of trust into him and realized that I shouldn't have. And so for me, I was very driven to be able to. At first, I didn't think it was going to ever become a full time income. I
Mm,
really was hoping to make extra income in case, things went bad over here and I had something to fall back on.
right.
And I had the goal of just, like I said, not having to rely on him and worry that his decisions were going to change my entire life. And
Mm,
kind of, I think it came more naturally to me than others. And I also think the way the program is designed with mindset and everything, you guys gave me a lot more confidence than I think a lot of other programs might not do for other people. And so
mm,
from the beginning, I was like convinced. I was like, this is going to work based off of
yeah.
like how you guys coached and how you guys, set up those videos. And I think it came a little more naturally just because I had a drive to get out of that situation. And like I said, the way you guys, you know, had the training set up, it really just gave me the confidence I needed to keep going.
It's amazing that us older folks don't look to you younger folks and just ask questions and listen and learn. You know, um, I think we got it in some ways. We got it wrong in our the way in which we teach and the way in which we think that people are the most wisest. In entrepreneurship, what's important is confidence and creativity. And who has the most creativity, and quite frankly, who has the most confidence in the world? A baby, a toddler does. Before the world begins to dampen that confidence and make us afraid of different things. Do you feel there's an element of tapping it, and you're young, but you know what I'm talking about, your true child, the true, child inside of you with this entrepreneurship? Do you find yourself being playful? I mean, are you having fun doing this? And are you figuring out ways to make it fun? Because I say your income is only capped by your creativity, and that's the same in entrepreneurship and in this world right now. There's no rules really to what we're doing, except it has to be moral, ethical, and legal. And it doesn't even have to be moral and ethical, but we really invite people to consider the long-term impact of their choices. But it has to be legal, or else you're going to get, it's not going to last long. So as long as it's moral, uh, legal and ethical, then your income is only capped by your creativity. And so what I've seen is I have seen a lot of older folks, Taylor, who have allowed themselves to loosen up a little bit and not be so stiff behind the camera, and actually let some of their knowledge and their playfulness and their wisdom and their just their who they are come out and kind of shine. How are you be keeping it playful? What are you comfortable with out there within your content? What's an example of something like you're not comfortable with doing? Talk to us a little bit about that.
I think being younger definitely does help because I haven't had that conditioning as long in my life. And being younger, not having kids yet, I'm able to take more risk. And so I do think that's helpful.
Mm,
I would say I read with you. I wouldn't do anything immoral or unethical because I do care about helping people, and I wouldn't want to just get legs up by screwing over others. And I think content wise, it is important to be creative and confident because I think what holds a lot of people back is they're scared of what other people think. And I've
mm,
had a lot of messages like that where people don't want to start posting because they don't want people from their hometown seeing them and different things like that. But if you can just get out of that fear of caring what other people think, I mean, the sky's the limit for sure.
mhm. It's interesting, the people are there's also people have a they want to know what other people are doing, and part of being an entrepreneur is really being able to look at something and listen to something with your ears and with your eyes and make a judgment call. Is this good for me? Does this make sense for my life? And I heard you really say that you, as you came into the challenge, you listened to the videos and they made you feel confident. You know, you made your own judgments based on the actual product and the actual content. And it's so unfortunate because we see people come in all the time and of course they get distracted by people hitting them up or other just shiny objects that they were already subscribed to, and instead of making, actually going through it and doing it themselves, they'll listen to other people, whether it's, hey, don't do that, come over here, or it's, hey, did you buy the blueprints? We have that a lot. It's like people are, and it's like we have one program, folks, here, one flagship program, which is the blueprints. It's not endless upsells. It's not, it's not some bait and switch. It's not some secret that we have a flagship program in the blueprints. It's interesting because we also did a mastermind just a week ago, and everybody in the room had the blueprints. Those who had went through them were succeeding at massive levels. Those who hadn't weren't. It was really clear, and it's interesting. Somebody asked, in the comments here, does she own the blueprints?
Mhm.
Because they wonder, hey, is there a shortcut? What's the shortcut? And that's why I was asking you those questions before. I just looked up, I was asking you before, like, did anybody give you a private secret edge here, or are you related to any of us, or did we? But here's another thing I just looked up. You bought um the business blueprints, the starter package that you get when that we offer, new people right at the beginning for a discount on April 4th, 2021. Okay. So April 4th, 2021, you got those blueprints. You said you went through them. Right? We just talked about that a second ago about going through the training. And here you are 1 year later, actually 1 year and just a month. So literally 1 year and some change later, talking about how you made six figures, how are now making consistently five figures per month from doing affiliate marketing, from simply applying what you learned in the training. And gosh, success leaves clues, man. I mean, success leaves clues. You can either have results or you can have excuses, and we see it every single day. And it's hard because I want to travel out to people's houses and I want to sit down, I want to look them in the eye. We put on events and give people an opportunity for not a dirt cheap but a reasonable price to come and look us in the eye and spend time with us. Whatever you need to do to overcome your objections, that you have in your head, folks, we have people on every single day. It's like, how I ask people when we're sitting in a room, what more convincing do you need? What other questions do you have? What other things are popping up in your head, floating around, that we can answer for you, that at that point you can finally give yourself permission to take ownership over your life and actually go through and watch the go through the challenge, determine if the blueprints are for you. Talk to one of our advisors, have a conversation before you make a judgment that they're just there to sell you. You might learn something that's way more valuable than $2,500 just with a conversation with somebody from our team who's had thousands of conversations. And trust me, we're professionals here. We're not begging and high pressuring. We know how to make an offer where there's enough value. We don't need to high pressure people. But Taylor, isn't that ironic that literally just over a year ago you bought those blueprints, and here we are talking, 13 months later. And but it's not just you. We have these sort of stories every day, but man, it's so crystal clear to me. And how do we make it more clear to people? How do we, I mean, what do you say to people who are you can just tell they've just are skeptical. And it's not about you. They're not assessing us. It's, I feel like it's really a lack of confidence in themselves. So how do we instill more confidence in people the way that we instilled confidence in you? Or what can you say, you think, what do you say now to people to instill confidence in them, to let them know it's not the training, folks? The training's not under investigation here. The track record is not under investigation. It's your limiting beliefs and whether you can focus and actually follow through with buying the training and going through it and applying it that's under investigation. And that's the cold, hard truth that I had to come to terms with in my life if I wanted my life to get better. Do you agree with that? And what advice do you have, or what advice do you give to instill more confidence in people?
I completely agree. And I think one of the first things I tell people is to read the book you guys suggest, Rich Dad Poor Dad, because that changed my perspective in like a whole 180. It opened my mind to a lot of things I had never thought about before. And I think that was a really big piece for me. But also, you know, these lives are important because if you're seeing other people do it, then it means it's possible for you, especially when you can hear somebody's story. They don't have a background and stuff like this, you know, started from fresh with zero experience. And so that's like one of the main things I think too when I'm looking at new business ventures is if other people are out there doing that, there's no reason that I can't, as long as I have the discipline to work every day, learn every day, and just keep at it.
Yeah. And I tell people, I mean, pick something and just go. Go in that direction. It's not, we're not convincing you to do what what's in our training, the business models that we're teaching. I mean, I would rather somebody go in a completely different direction, buy zero from me, buy zero from us. But go in a different direction. And as my dad always said to me, do something even if it's wrong. You cannot sit around be in indecisive paralysis analysis. That's what I also see is a black hole that people fall into. They get sort of, I don't know if it's overwhelmed by the tech. You know what I think it is? I think it's really that they just don't watch the training and just set it up properly. The way that the training describes it, it really is all inside of, for example, our business blueprints. The challenge that we offer has a lot of both mechanical stuff and also sort of the dynamics and higher level stuff. That's only $7. The blueprints are so step by step. You come in, you start with the affiliate marketing business blueprint. We really suggest people start with that because it's easier to do affiliate marketing just selling somebody else's product than it is to start, creating your own digital courses, doing coaching and running live events. Have you followed that process yourself of starting with affiliate marketing? Is that where you've made all of your money? In what do you love? What do you not love about the business model? Because a lot of people are torn also when they come about business models. They've heard a lot about Amazon and drop shipping, and they're getting pitched MLMs by all their family and friends. So talk to us a little bit about your experience with kind of the core four. Are you still just focusing on affiliate marketing?
So right now I'm still just focusing on the affiliate marketing. I do plan to create a digital product at some point, just not haven't gotten around to that yet. And I'm starting another online business before I do that because I'm not exactly sure what I would want to do my digital course over. But I definitely think what stops a lot of people is the social media aspect. People think if they don't have a big following or if they're not used to posting every day that they don't have a chance. But I was
Mm,
hardly ever active on social media. I would scroll and watch other people's stuff, but I never posted my own. I started
yeah.
from 0 followers, and I think
Mm,
the one thing I would say I don't like about it is the fact that people are deterred because of the social media aspect. They kind of like look at it as an influencer, but
yeah.
I spend a lot of time telling people that that's not what it is and that you don't need vlogs and stuff about your life, it's structured around the products, and you don't have to
Yeah.
keep your face in that. You don't have to, people are, like I said, worried about what other people will think, but you don't even have to put your face in it. So that's one of my
Right.
favorite things about it. And I think people, like I said, are just get a little scared when they know it's kind of really based around social media.
That's so true. They the going, creating content, putting yourself on video can be uncomfortable for sure. It's just like anything, we do it for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, and it's like, you become such a natural. And you know what? I'll tell you all, not that I was trying to be rhetorical, but we did an exercise. Actually, Joshua Smith at the recent mastermind led us through a simple, powerful exercise. And you know what he led us through to do? Record a video, and all of us recorded a video, right there inside of this huge mansion that we were hosting the mastermind in just last week. And it was amazing. People were they were running around. They were screaming, and they were wildly nervous, of course, before we when Josh was like, we're gonna do this, everybody in the room was just like, you know what I mean? It was a real big gasp. I'll share and I'll show you. And I think I played this a day or two ago, but I'll show you here just real quick. It's 23 seconds. Obviously, you can see things got a little out of hand there. Um, but wow, the confidence in the room. I was obviously being silly, but being in, my point was being playful on video and kind of let yourself really go. I mean, there's a little bit of that childlike kind of performing sometimes, letting out, or your goofiest self, or just, I mean, those are always the parts of our personalities that are the most charming, is those kind of goofy parts. But back to my point, after we recorded that video in that room, that entire room was on fire. They felt so proud of themselves and confident. Many of them had like never done that. You know what I mean? Had just never there. So, Taylor, it's hard to really build confidence in people because they got to do it. So, how has taking action, can you describe how, as you've taken action, you have developed confidence? And how are you a different person, if you feel like you are, than 1 year ago when you started?
I grew up super shy, which I love telling people because, like I said, wasn't active on social media. I was known as the quiet girl. Oh, people always told me I was quiet. I was quiet. And I was a little nervous posting on TikTok, but I kind of got over that fear a little bit, even from the beginning. But I think getting that first, like, good views on my video kind of started to give me that validation that I needed to be confident. I think that's where people struggle, is if they're posting for weeks and they're not really getting any feedback, their confidence just kind of ticks away. But um, if you can just keep posting, and the results will come as long as you stay consistent. And that's really, I think, how I got my confidence, was getting that feedback and knowing that people were starting to like my content.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta hang in there though, right? There's a period which can be short or long, but regardless, it will feel long at the beginning, when it feels like it's nothing but tumbleweeds, right? And so how how do you hold on? And how does one look at the small little miracles that are happening in our business instead of, I see a lot of people looking for the big burning bush. And in my, almost whatever 12, 13 years of doing this, I've never seen a burning bush. There has been a lot of tiny miracles along the way. What has your journey been like in terms of just falling in love with the process? That's sort of kind of how I would describe entrepreneurship. Is it's less about arriving to the destination, getting rich, or arriving there, but it's about falling in love with the process. It's about being on the court, kind of like when Michael Jordan retired and then he went to baseball, then he came back to basketballs because he wanted to be in the game. It's sort of like being in the game. So, have you fallen in love with the process? Are you finding yourself beginning to fall in love with the process? I mean, describe what comes up for you as I say what I just said and ask you that question.
I think it's so important to love the process, because I think if you don't love the process, you might not be that happier when you get the result. You have to actually enjoy what you're doing. And I have. From the beginning, I've really loved it. And that's why it's important to do something you're passionate about, because you need that drive, that passion for it to keep going when things aren't necessarily going your way.
And what about challenges when they pop up? I mean, to me, in part of falling in love with the process is taking the good with the bad, or the bad with the good, however you want to look at it. And, you know, in a way, I know that challenges keep me sharp. Now there's no pun intended right there. You know what I mean? But it was ironically clever. Um but man, challenges keep me sharp. They really do. Writing, and that's one of the things that for me is important. I actually do want to keep my skills sharp. I do want to. I do want to make sure that I'm still staying sharp. Staying. It's kind of like there's also other ways to transition to different levels. Do you see a lot of NBA players or professional athletes? They become commentators so they can stay close to the game, or they buy a sports team, or they
Mhm.
become a general manager. See, a lot of us, we and this is some advice that I want to give you, Taylor, if you don't mind. Are you open to some feedback and some, just, I want to, based on my experience and something that I heard you say. And so why what I just said is relevant and how it ties in to the advice I want to give you is that a few moments ago you said, I have other aspirations. I want to do other things. You know what I mean? I want to create a digital course and but I'm not quite clear yet. So I might want to start another business. But here's what I recommend you and any other person who's started to achieve some success, and as you said before, has a five-figure income up going now, and is kind of rocking and rolling. Don't don't screw that up just to move on and do other things. A lot of times, what we don't realize is we can grow our existing business to the levels that we want to grow it to, whether that be income or also kind of fulfillment and impact, by just staying in kind of nurturing that business to growth. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes, and for me, I've been able to continue to I've branched out into selling digital courses and coaching and events while still doing affiliate marketing. We're, Legendary and Dave Sharpe is the number one affiliate, not Legendary as a whole, actually, just me, just the referrals that I personally send. I just won a contest at ClickFunnels. I'm the number one affiliate as of recently, at ClickFunnels, still doing affiliate marketing. So my point here is that a lot of times that we think we need to do more businesses, more streams of income, more things. But my experience is that a lot of times, if I'm doing more things, I end up just only being able to put 20% of my energy into each thing. So I get 20% return back. Whereas if I have one business and I just keep growing that business, and that's the commitment. That's the challenge, I think, that most entrepreneurs have is growing one business to a multi-million dollar level. Okay. And it's been a challenge here at Legendary as we've grown this business. We're in our 6th year of business. We did, almost 20 million in sales last year. We'll do more this year. But that's been a commitment to stay focused and stay in our lane. And this is my only business. I don't have any other businesses. I have investments on the back end, but I don't have multiple businesses. And I guarantee that I would put my earnings and lifestyle up against any guru, any MLM leader, any person who's preaching anybody who's running a 16-hour a day FBA or drop shipping business, or anybody who's running around working 10 or 12 hours a day or even 6 hours a day, uh running multiple businesses, you know. And so at the very least, the advice that I have to entrepreneurs as they begin to get more successful and earn more money is, if you are going to branch out, figure out a way to continue to operate the business that got you to where you're at. Because that's in entrepreneur, how probably I know somebody said this to me in my life: don't quit your old job until you get a new job, right? I don't know if anybody gave you that advice, but they gave me that advice. They were like, "Don't quit." That's like some 2 generation ago advice and it's good advice. It's stuck around. It's good advice. And I'm going to reiterate that advice in the entrepreneur sense. Don't don't start a new business and screw up the existing income that you have, because I have seen people who have earned $1 million as affiliates, and then you know what? They wanted more and they wanted to grow, but they didn't take the right steps to grow, and they got sloppy, and they got unfocused, and the more that they got over. And here's an example. I was selling information the way that we do now back in 2011 and 12. And then in 2013, I had a business partner then. We're like, let's do software, right? And we did our own custom software project. And it was the biggest mistake that I ever made, because to say yes to that, to vote that was a good idea, because it wasn't in my lane, and it was a huge distraction. And it ended up being a massive, I mean, we were selling information and doing what we did, and now we wanted to be hot shots and sell software, you know. And so that's been a big commitment here of mine at Legendary, really, is we've moved real slow. Come on, you don't think that we've considered building our own funnel builders and all these kind of things here at Legendary? But sometimes you got to stay in your lane, because you know how you just talked about the guy that you worked for at one time who made irrational decisions? I am that leader. If I'm constantly, shifting gears, that impacts people like you, Taylor, here. And you know what's interesting? As you run your business, people are going to be looking to you, depending on you. Your followers are also going to be depending on you for a consistent message. And they'll keep buying from you year after year if you stay consistent and continue to give them attention, kind of innovate, but don't change too much. Be a place that they can go and know what to expect. And if it's kind of like some of these brands that have been around for years, like Rolex, They don't if you look at some of their watches, they're the same as back in 1950. It's subtle changes. When the market is always changing, Taylor, be the North Star for some customers and they'll keep paying you year after year. How's that feel for you? And what comes up for you as I give you that feedback?
I think that's really great advice. And I think that's why maybe it took me a year to look elsewhere to add another business into under my belt, because I knew it was going to be twice as much work. And I wasn't willing to put in that work if I wasn't, like you said, going to be doing the same thing over here. And I think that's what's really great about this business model, too, is the fact that I do only spend a couple hours per day. And so I do have a lot of extra time. Whereas some
Yeah,
people are still working their 9 to 5, they don't have that extra time. And so I made
yeah.
sure when I was looking to, you know, at other business models, was that I was going to stay consistent with mine, and that this that wasn't going to change at all. I just had to put in that extra work to make something out of that. And I do love that advice though, because I know that
And you're young and full of energy, and it's different as you get older. You have less energy. So do any for those of you who are young, or if you don't have small children, maybe you're older, maybe you're retired, or maybe you have empty nest, your children, it's all about energy levels. I don't actually think it's about age. So I know that for me, I have small children at home. So they take a lot of my energy. I got to be real careful where I spend my energy. That's why toxic people, things of that nature, I got to be real careful where I spend my energy each day, every minute. And so that's incredible. That you have that sort of, I guess, ability to be able to play the tape through at the age that you are. Here's the other cool thing. How much content can you repurpose? And how many things, as you build I like to call it like this, because I like to give the work that I do fancy names. So watch this. As you develop a body of work, right, with all of your content, and that is gold, all that media, all that body of work, those hundreds or even thousands of videos that you have, you can save them and categorize them and repurpose them. So once you have a few hundred of them, you have them categorized as, hey, did really well, or categorize them however you want. And now, man, how much extra time does that give you too? I don't think even me, I don't fully utilize my catalog. There's another fancy word for all the shit that I've built and done and written and recorded over the years. But I don't think that we fully utilize our own catalog of content. Isn't I have to imagine after a year you have emails and things you've wrote and videos you can repurpose, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It just it makes and especially once you find something that works, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? I mean, before you think that your marketing is not working, understand that it may actually be doing better than you think it is. And oftentimes we're the last ones to see that we're growing, or notice growth. So, hey, look, I'm going to let you get back to your vacation in Miami. Wow. Cause I know you're going to go back to Oklahoma, and I have a feeling you love it more in Miami. So I'm going to give you a chance to get back to that, soak up every second. Thanks for spending time with us, your valuable, precious time, now that you've got this life that you've worked hard for and you're spending in Miami. Thanks for coming back, giving back, and spending some time sharing your secrets with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Taylor. Come back and see us again, okay?
Okay, we'll do.
All right, talk to you soon. All right, my friends. Wow, man, come on. I am like Monday. Who needs coffee? Wow. Wow. Like, I'm fired up. I mean, you just it's like if there's no way that if you're me and you're talking to these people or you're listening to this and this is your main business and what you're trying to do, that if you plug into this just an hour a day listening to this, especially if you're new, there's no way that your life can't change, that your perspective on yourself and success in this business can't change when you hear these completely, totally cool and real, just no BS, no BS, just totally straight up real. It's just mind blowing. I mean, these are every day, day in and day out, and it just keeps getting better. Because you don't want to know why the people who have gone through our training and applied it, they're coming back onto the show. You know what I mean? So now Taylor's come back onto the show. I think she said this was her third time or whatever. So, here's what I want to, here's what I want to say. If you haven't gotten started yet, or if you've, for example, bought our blueprints and haven't gone through them yet, just go through them. Just do yourself that favor. You deserve it, because your life can change in a year. There's no guarantees. It's not on us. The training is not going to change your life. You're going to change your life. But man, you know what I mean? It's it's and it's amazing, because you even look at Taylor, and of course she began to make money and see results and all of that before, but a year is not that long. A year is not that long to get to a place to where you can let your hair down, exhale a little bit, relax, and say, "Wow, I'm a bit more comfortable now." And you get more and more comfortable along the way. But I mean, come on. If you went to most people out there on the street and you said, "Hey, look, you sign up today and put in some work, you're going to get $0 for the next year. But after that, your life is going to be totally different and change." Most people are going to sign up for that. But here, you can actually earn while you learn. That is something that actually is possible if you apply, go through the training and apply it. So it's not like and that's what I think the big difference between this and obviously college in the typical system is. You don't have to wait 4 years or 2 years. But most people, like I said, would sign up for, hey, sign up today, work your ass off for a year, earn nothing, but after a year, your life will be totally different and change. Most people would sign up for that. And here we can earn while we learn. So just, man, I hope you heard something today that changed your life, because your life can change in an instant when you make a decision to do something different. Seriously, make today that day. If you are needing or wanting to start over. One heck of an interview. I'm trying not to cuss too much or as much on these, so I don't get flagged by Facebook anymore. They were flagging me at the mastermind event. Everybody was like, "What's wrong with the audio?" And it was because I was cussing like a sailor. So, all right, my friends, have a fantastic Monday. All right. Let's end this month strong. We've got like one more week to May here, 2022. I want to thank Taylor again for an incredible interview. Go follow her, Build Wealth from Home, and make sure that you also are subscribed to our text message list to get reminders. 81 or text WUL for Wake Up Legendary to 813-296-8553. Get into that training today. Get serious. Apply it. And let's see what you can accomplish. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Get out of here. Peace.